B'Elanna Torres has an awesome new role in the Star Trek universe. Completing her Voyager arc, B'Elanna Torres has an awesome new role in the Star Trek universe, completing her Voyager arc. Torres, the half-human, half-Klingon engineer of Voyager, was integral to IDW Star Trek Defiant, where she joined Worf's ragtag crew aboard the titular ship. Now, in a first look at Star Trek Defiant #22, Torres has ascended to the captain's chair, but it might come at a huge cost. IDW shared their solicitations for December and January, including Star Trek Defiant #22. The book will be written by Christopher Cantwell and drawn by Angel Unzueta, and is the first part of the No Old Warriors story arc. IDW's solicitation for the issue reads as follows. B'Elanna Torres is in the captain's chair of the Defiant, and she has a choice to make: return home and report for duty as the Mother Myral needs, or continue saving the universe with her crew. With her disavowed status from Starfleet Command and all that she's been through from bounty hunting to parasite infestations, B'Elanna isn't sure she's strong enough for either task. Luckily, O'Brien proposes a detour adventure to dismantle minefields in the Alpha Quadrant, and B'Elanna jumps at the chance to forestall a final decision. For now, Defiant, as well as the flagship Star Trek title, which stars Torres' husband Tom Paris, have explored her struggles to balance family and career. Furthermore, Defiant has shown the dark side of Chief O'Brien's actions during the Dominion War, namely the replicating minds that fended off a Dominion attack. B'Elanna Torres' Star Trek arc explained. B'Elanna Torres' arc throughout the Star Trek universe took from her Starfleet Academy washout to the chief engineer's spot on Voyager. Initially a member of the Maquis, a band of freedom fighters opposing the Cardassians, Torres was thrown 75,000 light-years across the galaxy to the Delta Quadrant in Voyager's series premiere. After Voyager's first engineer was killed, Captain Janeway appointed Torres to the position, and thus began her journey. Torres did not trust her new crewmates at first, but thankfully grew into the role. After marrying Tom Paris, Torres gave birth to a daughter, Myral, in Voyager's finale. Torres would return to the franchise in the first issue of Star Trek Defiant, released in early 2023. After Voyager's return, Torres and Tom try to settle down and begin building a life together in the Alpha Quadrant. Unfortunately, Collis II began a genocidal campaign against the gods themselves, and both Torres and Paris became caught up in it. Tom joined Captain Sisko on the Theseus, which was tasked with stopping Collis. Meanwhile, Torres threw her lot in with Worf, who had broken away from Sisko and was now heading up his own ship. Finally, B'Elanna Torres is a Starfleet captain now. Deep into her mission on board the Defiant, Torres has at last become a captain of her own ship, which would seem to indicate a new phase in her Starfleet career. It is a well-deserved promotion. Torres served admirably aboard Voyager and has proven loyal to Worf as well. Despite being drummed out of the Academy early on for insubordination, Torres has grown into a highly competent Starfleet officer, as well as a loving wife and mother. B'Elanna Torres' growth and development as a character was a highlight of Star Trek Voyager. B'Elanna Torres' rise to the rank of captain has been a long time coming, but it may cost her dearly. Torres and Tom have been taking turns watching their daughter, but eventually they must reunite as a family. Unfortunately, the lore war is on the horizon, meaning both Torres and Tom will barely have time to catch their breaths. The lore war promises to be a huge event, one that will have repercussions for B'Elanna Torres. B'Elanna Torres' promotion to captain in the Star Trek universe may end up being a Pyrrhic victory, despite completing her Voyager arc. In the vast and diverse Star Trek universe, few characters have embodied the essence of personal evolution as poignantly as B'Elanna Torres. Introduced in Star Trek Voyager as a half-human, half-Klingon chief engineer, B'Elanna's journey was marked by an inner struggle for identity, control, and belonging. Throughout Voyager's 7-season run, B'Elanna navigated not only the challenges of life aboard a starship stranded 70,000 light-years from home, but also her own internal conflicts. As with many characters in Star Trek, the close of Voyager left fans wondering what could come next for her. Would she continue to serve in Starfleet, perhaps settling into a life of peace after the long journey home? Or would she take on new challenges, further exploring her identity and place in the universe? Now, with her reappearance in the latest Star Trek developments, B'Elanna Torres has taken on an awesome new role that not only builds on her past, but also completes the arc she began during her Voyager years. Part 1. B'Elanna Torres in Star Trek Voyager. The duality of being. When B'Elanna Torres was introduced in the pilot episode of Star Trek Voyager, Caretaker, she was a member of the Maquis, a rebellious faction of former Starfleet officers and civilians who opposed the Federation's peace treaty with the Cardassians. This position placed her at odds with the disciplined order of Starfleet, which she joined only begrudgingly after Voyager was catapulted to the distant Delta Quadrant. From the start, B'Elanna's character was complex and layered. The daughter of a human father and a Klingon mother, B'Elanna was deeply conflicted about her heritage. She often viewed her Klingon half as a source of uncontrollable anger and emotional volatility, traits she wanted to suppress. This struggle with her identity was not just an internal one, it shaped her relationships with others, most notably with Captain Catherine Janeway, whom she both admired and resisted, and Tom Paris, her eventual husband. B'Elanna's dual nature was a recurring theme throughout Voyager, and her engineering prowess became one of the core strengths of the crew. However, her emotional journey was just as central to her character arc as her professional skills. Her relationship with Paris, her evolving role as a mother, and her reconciliation with her Klingon heritage were all key parts of her development over the series. By the time Voyager returned to the Alpha Quadrant, B'Elanna had grown significantly, but there was still a sense that her story was not entirely finished. Part 2, Post-Voyager Life. The Alpha Quadrant beckons. After Voyager's triumphant return to Earth at the end of the series, the lives of its crew members remained a subject of speculation and debate among fans. Star Trek. Picard gave viewers a glimpse of what happened to some of the key figures in Voyager and the Next Generation, but B'Elanna's post-Voyager path was less defined. Fans longed to see what kind of life she built after leaving the Delta Quadrant and how she might balance her career in Starfleet with her role as a mother. One of the key aspects of B'Elanna's character that made her stand out in Voyager was her ability to navigate both human and Klingon worlds, often feeling like she belonged fully to neither. This internal conflict was something that many fans related to, and it was a key aspect of her journey on the ship. However, after her daughter, Myril, was born, B'Elanna was forced to confront how she would raise a child who carried both the burden and strength of Klingon blood. The final season of Voyager touched on B'Elanna's fear of passing on her anger and volatility to Myril, and it was clear that her journey as a mother would be one of her most important roles moving forward. In the aftermath of Voyager, there were many potential paths for B'Elanna. Her skills as an engineer and her experience in the Delta Quadrant could have easily led her to a high-ranking Starfleet position or even a command of her own ship. Yet there was always a sense that B'Elanna's future would involve more than just professional advancement. Her inner conflict and her growing responsibility as a mother suggested that her next steps would likely focus on finding a way to balance the many facets of her identity: the engineer, the warrior, the wife, and the mother. Part 3. A new role in the Star Trek universe. Diplomat, mentor, and advocate for the Klingon legacy. In her new role within the Star Trek universe, B'Elanna Torres has taken on a position that few could have predicted, but one that makes perfect sense. Given her personal evolution, she has become an advocate and diplomat, working on behalf of both Starfleet and the Klingon Empire, a figure who bridges the gap between these two sometimes antagonistic cultures. This new role is a culmination of B'Elanna's journey toward embracing both sides of her heritage and finding peace with her dual identity. After Voyager, it became clear that the Federation and the Klingon Empire would need figures who could navigate the complexities of their relationship.